right.
Just the last part here, we were talking that we can talk about a little bit more practical
Mm.
stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
let's talk about practical stuff because everyone would okay, we talk, it's good, it's possible, but what are some practicalities we can give people that okay, let's start creating the impossible? Do you have something in mind?
I think there is this. I think there's this myth that you need to know how to do something. Like there's always this idea. I mean, I'll talk to clients about. Um, I'll make up a topic: networking. You know, reaching out to people, seeing what's available in a different field that you might be interested in, et cetera, et cetera. And they say, well, that sounds great, but how do I do that? And it feels so pedantic to say, well, you pick up the phone and you dial it, and like, there's how to. I find how to is generally just an excuse that's covering up some fear. Like people can
Mm.
figure out how to. I mean, we've got Google, we've got YouTube. You can figure out how to do anything.
Wow.
It's the question is, do you want to enough to step into that discomfort? And for most people, there's a certain point in their life where they stop doing uncomfortable things. They have their job, they have their career, they show up, they go to the same place, they show up at the same meetings, they do the same thing, and it's really comfortable. And the more comfortable you are, the more uncomfortable it is to be uncomfortable, right? Where if instead, and maybe this is a little more practical advice, is just to experiment with being and surviving discomfort. What's one uncomfortable phone call you could make this week? What's one uncomfortable email you could send this week? What happens when you do it? One of the things that I discovered initially as a coach is I'd get this tightness in my stomach around, like, oh, I'd really like to tell Dimi this, but what will he think of me if I say it? And then I started experimenting with saying it. And the experience that I had, Dimi, was, I don't know, it probably wasn't 100% of the time, but 95% of the time, the person would say something like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. Or, oh my
Wow.
gosh, thank you for pointing that
Wow.
out to me. Or, I hadn't thought about that, but you're exactly right. And so I began to like look for that little tightness in my stomach. I'd get excited about feeling it because it's like, oh, this is some good stuff I'm on to. So it completely flipped how I felt about it. And so, like, that's an experiment that anybody can do. And
Yes.
it you know depends on how you apply it. There's no specificity there other than this general direction toward more discomfort, and what shows up for you when you do that.
Definitely, man. I mean, definitely, my suggestion is the same. Like, first of all, uh, ask. I think it was. I don't remember the question, but there was in Michael New this impossibility question. I don't remember what was the question, but let's say that the question might be. I mean, if everything was
Yeah.
possible in life, what would you,
Right.
what would you approach in life? So that's
Right.
it. And then from that point, from the, from the space of everything is possible, and you just approach something which you really believe that you want,
Right. Right.
and you're open to go through the discomfort to
Right.
get it,
Right. Right.
there is no doubt that you can get it.
Well, one of the
It's as
things that
simple
I
as that.
loved about that program, and about his perspective, was that, most of us think about what I want next is something really similar to what I currently have, only like 10% more. And that's his perspective. And this has been true in my own life. It's it's oftentimes easier to create something that looks really unreasonable just because it requires, like, if I'm creating 10% more of what I already have, I'm just doing 10% more of the things I've already done. I'm kind of stuck in my current operating system. If I have to do something that I have no idea how to do, I suddenly have to, like, I have to show up as a different person to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's easier.
It is, and also it's more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's like an adventure. Like you go on an adventure. It's not like, oh, this, but a little bit more. You're gonna do the same. You're gonna have the same life. But if you have something you want to really aspire to, and you go
Yeah.
to this adventure, that's amazing. Thank you, man. So
Yeah.
just before we go, two things. First of all, where people can contact you if they want coaching, if they want just to talk to you and they want to know more about you, where is this
Yeah.
place?
Yeah. Well, I spend a lot of time connecting with people on LinkedIn. I do a lot of writing on LinkedIn. So if
Okay.
you're on LinkedIn, reach out and connect with me.
I'll
If
do
you
that.
want to send an email to me directly, it's jeff@jmunn.com. The website you can get to either through creatingextraordinaryfutures.com or jmunn.com.
Perfect.
Yeah, those are the best ways to reach out to me. And I am
Cool.
in the process of putting together a group of people who are looking at, I call it creating what's next. So it's that, that creating word, right? Of like, how do I step beyond these things that have been kind of keeping me small and safe, and how do I do it with a group of people where we can all support each other? So I'm really excited about that.
So exciting, man. And
Yeah.
the last thing you want to share with people, just one sentence maybe, or whatever you feel like, just to leave them with.
You can do it.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. I just wanted to acknowledge you for the time and the wisdom you shared with me and with the people who are gonna listen to that. And that's not going to be the last time we are doing something together. I'm sure about this. So
Yeah, me too.
let's keep rolling and
Yeah.
helping the people to really start living their dreams.
Yeah. Thank you, Dimi. I really
Thank you, man.
enjoyed the conversation and looking forward to the next time.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Take care.